Hi everyone, welcome back to Nasedianka, the channel where I talk about Bulgarian culture, history, tradition and faith. So I've changed the atmosphere a little bit. I've been trying to take advantage of the weather, and fall is trying to come in. It's not there yet, but it's trying, and the temperatures have dropped and I'm just loving it. You all can see we still have green trees and green grass all around, but I do see some leaves falling here and there. So it is trying. So I wanted to steal this moment as I've been busy and I have a full-time job and I have been taking care of my responsibilities, but in a little moment in between my responsibilities I squeezed out this time to come out, take advantage of the sun, take advantage of nature. I spread out my little rug on the ground and I was reading some material which I have been considering sharing with all of you for some time. So I'm using a book from Bulgarian language. I have all sorts of sticky notes, that's my style. It's called My First Book About Bulgaria. And today, where I opened is, there is specifically a talk lesson about the city of Perperikon. And so I really wished to share with you. So what I did is I opened a little notebook and I wrote my notes with translated material so that I can communicate it to you guys more easily in the English language. So Perperikon fascinates me. And Bulgaria is full of so many, as I've mentioned to you all before, antiquity sites, riches that predate antiquity. I mean, they go back into antiquity. So Perperikon, they say, is an ancient sanctuary city that was built from rock, and it is a stone city, again, that's situated in the eastern Rhodope Mountains. Now, the Rhodope Mountains, they go straight through Bulgaria, kind of like dividing Bulgaria into north from south. And Perperikon is the biggest megalithic complex on the Balkans. The oldest discoveries point to 6000 BC at least, before Christ, right? 6000 BC. The basic Thracians, now if you all check back with my earlier videos where I talked about Bulgarian Thracians, our ancestors, I also mentioned the Besi. They're one of the many states. Some people call them tribes, but realistically speaking, they were not tribes because they had capitals, they had established cities and again, like states, basically, within the ancient Bulgarian country. So those were the Besi Thracians, and they basically considered Perperikon among one of the most important and kind of like elevated in importance cult centers in antiquity. Later, during the Roman rule, in this location were built or like erected castle walls, fortresses, streets, roads, neighborhoods. In other words, the city became very populated. During the Middle Ages, Perperikon was an important Bulgarian and Byzantine fortress. Some finds or discoveries also testify to Perperikon's strong defense and endurance, especially during the Turkish invasion. In the western crypt, or should I say undercroft of the castle there were found 15 sarcophagus, like stone tombs, you guys would say, which had been robbed sadly in the past. It looks like this was a place where the ancient priests of the leaders at the time were buried along with their families. In other words, the Bulgarian Thracian priests, right? Constantine Irecek actually mentions about the rock city of Perperikon. Other scientists associate this city, the name, specifically with the Thracian word for rock, which also comes from their deity for the deity of rock, and that was P-E-R, so they called it Perperikon, the city. Professor Nikolai Ovcharov, you guys might say Nicholas Ovcharov, he's a researcher. He's one who actually popularized this city. He made it, he helped he helped it become known to the public in more recent years. Since he undertook a huge excavation and he developed a theory regarding the city's transformations over the periods of time throughout the different kind of like time periods of history. Apparently, that same scientist again noticed the leftovers of a circular altar which carries traces of prophetic rituals with fire and with wine. So he compared his findings with the descriptions of historians from antiquity, and in this way he reached the conclusion that this namely must be the oracle of Dionysius, or Dionysius, I think you guys would say. So the oracle of Dionysius, you guys can see, is now competing in level of importance to the oracle of Delphi. And in truth, this means that Perperikon is just as important, to say the least, as the oracle at Delphi. The priests and priestesses from the temple back in the day, at that time of course we're talking about, came from the Bulgarian state of the Besi. Again, these were one of the Thracian states or tribes. At this location again, at Perperikon, came namely individuals such as Alexander the Macedonian. I've included him in a previous video, as well as, let's see what I wrote, the father of Octavius Augustus. I think you guys would say Octavius Augustus in English. They would go to the oracle, of course. I mean, they were pagan, back in the day. They would go there to consult. Scientists assume, with their fate and so forth. We Orthodox don't need that kind of stuff, but again, this is part of human history, human growth and development. And my question is, if we are to know about the oracle of Delphi, about the Greeks, why wouldn't we know about Bulgaria, which actually must precede the oracle of Delphi? So I leave that to y'all. Last though not least, I'm just going to mention an additional proof that the city of Perperikon was among the most important cities of antiquity. Also served the ruins, leftovers from the castle that actually was built there. And those ruins have been left from the Thracian leaders, our Bulgarian Thracian ancestors, from the end of the 3rd century. That castle, by the way, they say was built in 7 stories, 7 levels, you guys. That, that speaks to me of a culture. I'm just going to bring my phone closer and you'll see that I'm just using my basic ways of recording. But, I thought that this was important to share with my English-speaking counterparts, friends around the world, acquaintances, people, again, spreading the word and knowledge about Bulgaria in all of her colors and riches. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you can enjoy a little bit of the beautiful nature here. We have some sun and I can hear the birds. I don't know if you guys can hear the birds and the insects, but they are abundant and I'm afraid that I'm going to be eaten up by mosquitoes. I'll have to be moving around soon. They don't like me too much, those mosquitoes, but still I have to be careful. But anyway, I hope this found you well. I'm going to continue to update you guys and I hope that you have a great rest of the week. Thank you. Bye bye.